Country people dem Achowe salute. As una sabi am, the one na undaunted news. Dey say tori no dey hide, na dat so so. Shake shake no dey. Na me tori pikin Su aka talk am all. I don come again make we match fire. Tori wey we go traka am for una today na for inside palava for ghost town. How wey e happen for we country wey na today Monday. We go enter for dat side for Joshua Osi. We go see how wey e happen for as e don turn for Kabi Social Democratic Front, their party chairman. We go see am how wey e be happen for number 30 day for July 2018. We go remember ourselves for how wey happen for dat side. The public governor don do plenty thing dem and dem dey continue for thief with people dem for dat side for neighbor Nigeria. Dem know the rest. The public don decide say e go continue for the spoil the people dem, carry dem go with am for dat side for republic go kill am. My country people dem, as una dey hear me now so, any place where you dey, know say tori pikin dey and I dey talk for una na from ABC TV. Una shey no go gone because say I go come back and I go break all the tori dem in the proper kind of style. I dey come. Yes, my country people dem, una come back fine. Mami and papa dem, na pidgin news dis with the tori pikin Su. For inside tori for today, we go break am how wey happen for dat side for home front. How wey ghost town e be waka pass. And this time, we go see am how wey be people dem don decide say today na day wey dem go take am, dem go do their sport. So and dem go shino with their family. So and dem go decide for hold their small country meeting dem. So and dem go do any kind of thing for see say make dem rest and make the struggle e push fire. So as e be now so, Wakaman Kimbi for home front, e go open am for we so that make we see am the proper kind of style. Wakaman.
Thank you, Terry Pikin. My country people them, as we sabi am fine, today na somewhere another country Sunday, and they don't pass fine like a normal. 40 days so, no man will be come off our side. All place, they dry like a beating ground. That means say motor them, no one so pass through. As motor they never pass so, we know say Republic thief people them. All the control them with the start of corner road, they never chop today. We people them for Ambazonia, they never use the ghost town. Like they will do their own thing them, we go help them. So when they come out, clean that community. So when they do na sports, for see me body they fine. Some people that way they get plenty work, for other different day them, they use the day for rest fine. If you enter Ambazonia, see how we put in the keep the day, you will not say na people then, we do not mean them. Say they go fight for we freedom. As it be so, for the day so, all the way place and dry, it be like say people they need to stay for Ambazonia. All taxi people then, they need to work. They run log all store them. And the public people them, their office, they run to close them. We find us way with people them, they respect the country on the so. And we just continue to do and so till we get with freedom. Sika say, when we go get with freedom, we cover glad. And we know if I feel like say, it's like fight that will make us so, as some baby worry. We Mr. President, our IG, they know the way they do our fine. And all the things so that for your own good. Now me Wakaman Kimbi, and I talk so that for home front for Undaunted Pidgin News.
Thank you, Wakaman Kimbi. And country people them, mommy and papa them, we dey talk congratulations for una as well una dey push am for una own way. But we go leave that to this so and we go match fire. Social Democratic Front Party don finally get Nyang chairman wey don take over late Nijon Funzi. Dis man name na Joshua Osi and na he be the new chairman for the Social Democratic Party. And dem be voting so na for party wey dem dey call our grammar say elective convention wey e be happen na for Saturday, the number 28 day for dis October month 2023 for dat side for neighbor colonial republic dem country, and e happen again na for dem capital wey dem call am say Yaminde. Dis party e get more than 2,000 delegates dem wey dem comot for different corner dem for inside the two Cameroon dem. And na 3 people dem wey dem be show say dem get langa for dis chairman position. So how the chairman e be happen say im die when na late Nijon Funzi, dem be suppose for find different man wey go shine for dis chair. Dis people dem wey dem go for dis palava wey dey show langa na Joshua Osi, Zama Godin and Shewa Gestel. And the money wey any man get langa for dis chair, he go put am before he go fit compare for dis chair. The money na 7 million for Cameroon, their money. My country people dem, the money so as you give am, you know the come back. As e enter their hand, you know the comot. For how the vote be pass, Joshua Osi him be get 985 votes. Shewa Gistel him be get 363, and then last Zama Godin get 217. Wey mean say Osi na the choice for the majority for the delegate dem. And according to Joshua Osi, wey na dem SDF dem chairman also, he know say this one na serious palava wey don enter, because he sef he talk say this party na serious party and he suppose forget na serious leader. And this massa man, he sabi am so fine. So he talk say he get plenty work for do. Now my country people dem, the problem now be say now wey e don happen so wey they don put this man for chair, and na he don be the big man wey with Ambazonian people dem they don vomit it. How he wan do am? We go see how the betrayer and all the betrayer e happen for their side for SDF before Ambazonian people dem dey vomit am. So my country people dem na go gather skin so that me we enter inside the palava for this SDF as I dey talk so fine. Me we see how dem be start am still carry reach up to now. Me we see how with people dem wey dem no be fit sacrifice for another man, how they go shine for the chair. People dem wey dem no fit look past their nose, only for can betray with people dem seek langa for money and their donors wey don put you for this position where we dey. Country people, but me I no go talk am, I go give pass na for Wakaman Kimbi, so that I go tori we the thing for the way we happen and he go open am for we fine. Wakaman me we here.
My country people them, this SDF party where them create a so, it was supposed to be a party we go bring hope for Ambazonian people them. For this we fight for freedom. But as it is so, told them the height for about this party, where it show say the party na black leg for the fight for freedom. For 1982, President Aijo for the Republic become a chair. Then a Buya became the chair. This thing where President Aijo so become a power. Let be clear. Sika say he be on the bina 59 years. And then say get some kind of sick. If he talk say he go worry. So he sure say inside Tori day why President Aijo come on the chair to true. But even said before this thing won't happen so, Ambazonian people them, they be already feel say they don't say them. Sika say they may already enter Wingomna. They change in them. They make our we join with them. They change Federal Republic for Cameroon them. So Aijo he own United Republic. And this one so we already show we thing where the Republic they really want them. This thing that was na worse, na time Buya became chair. He joined the 2 different states them, put her under one name when na Cameroon. Name with their colonial master, France, we give them. Fund them with the chief them, like he fund Gorgin Zinga, Chief Ayamba, which he plans other one them. Talk say, this one so, na jambo inside politics, and you know correct? When they be seriously with Buya the drum so, It make and the wonder independence strong again. For inside this chakara will be the happen so. Check people them for Ambazonia, or as some people then they call them Southern Cameroon. But she don't talk as how way they gonna make some political party. We go help them for go for before with their fight. And as so way SDF take come out. But as waiting them day, and Funzi be last as come out as chairperson for SDF. The Torino be clear again. Shake be give plenty. Sika say Funzi will be the line for people them where the one be chairperson for the Public Democratic Movement, RDPC, for pre-election for 1988. That one so be just so say, be being a better person for be chairperson. For Ambazonia people them, their own party. Some people them, they be say this thing where Funzi enter SDF so, especially with the longer power. Especially Sika say, be show no interest for all people them, their own governor, for that time them for RDPC. And for Adam on top this one, for 1985, they changed him for UNC party to CPGN under Buya as chairman. At the same time that way, Funzi, chairman for SDF, for 1990, the still day till the public people them, their party, will be get power for that time. Very people they know Sabiam, as why they make this SDF party so, now black like them, for this we fight for freedom. Even as we plenty check for them for inside Ambazonia. For instance, so go and pick SDF party, now for own good. As Funzi enter for this so, people then start ask plenty question them. If true, this party so no be get any bad thing for Bel for Southern Cameroon and them. Ambassador them meaning a chairman, we go there for them, and they go fight for them. And they no be a person way who they check na for your own hate. He's also check na politics canting them. That one just show say the SDF that today with the height so. Now true disappointment for your ambassador for them. I'll leave them back for you to the picking.
People them inside Bakure town for Sampit area inside Buya for Monday the number 30 day for July 2018. They suffer one for their biggest die them wey na thief people wey dem call them say big when na republic dem make kelebe, they come kill them for that side, kill them, pick them, their boy them and their girl them fine. Then be even thief someone themselves carry am with am, go with am. Then leave the community for inside big cry and confusion. One thing for inside the massacre wey we dey talk so, na say as e happen, the public ekelebe dem, they be thief one man, and the man he become talk say he be their French people too. Say as e be so, he comot na for French country and he sabi talk na their talk. As he talk so, these people dem they give transport straight. They tell you say make take taxi, he go house. Na so where this man come and he can open tori for people them. Sorry, they carry them, they go with them. As well the people them too, as they hear the tori, now they follow for go see sorry, they leave these people them. Na country people by the time they reach for there, they don't already kill me. These two people them way, if be there for there, they see na two dead body where sleep for there straight. As this thing continue, it happen so my country people them. It don't happen for different places them inside Ambazonia. It don't happen for place like Dongaman too, where they can kill people them. Leave all man for inside confusion and inside cry die. It happen for Bamisi, Womb, for Dian, for Nkem. I say for all kind LGA there, for inside Ambazonia, who public, they just can do special killing. Then we go talk special thank you again for inside this palaver for Master President for interim government, Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, and we strong voices the way they dey for ground. Because of the support where all we Amazonia people dey give through the draft and different kind of way, the boys they don't be able for fight this ekelebe them for reduce the killing way it happen inside Amazonia, and now so even with Amazonia people to fit carry their shoulder for up. Last my country people them we go free and we go continue for put power for inside the struggle. This kind thing where then they go take Amazonian people them by force for Nigeria, so now another topic. Now bad thing and even international law, green step for this kind of thing. Tori paper them, they don't flop for outside with the same story about this palaver. And self human rights group them, not the too glad with the thing where them public people them that they do for first way Amazonian refugee them for Nigeria for go back for republic where them self them sabi and say we people they don't want them. This very thing so it don't make people then they ask plenty question that they ask and say true refugee then be safe so, and if them be safe Why human rights never put power plenty as e suppose put am for inside the palava? Plenty people dem dey talk say dis thing so e no fine. Dem no dey follow international law dem again. For the send people dem back for place where war is still there, fight still there, danger still there, e no fine. And e dey for inside country plenty. Some foolish war wey e dey there because say dis war dey so. Na chairman for neighbor republic wey dem dey call say Buya, na him start dis war wey e no fit finish am. And because of the war, like 5,000 people dem don die. Like 50,000 people themselves, my country people, they don die. And like 6,000 house dem, village dem, e don burn too. Still for this palava, ekelebe dem, the cash people dem, carry am go with am for prison. So and then the loss, anyhow inside bush suffer, e dey for that country. How many say they go still can carry our refugee there? Say me dem go back. Some people dem dey talk, say dem dey ask question again, say the responsibility wey dem suppose for dey protect these people dem for we country wey dem dey inside Nigeria, dem no be sure again for that responsibility for inside human right. Some people themselves dem dey talk say Nigeria suppose for protect we Cameroon refugee dem. E no suppose for carry am go give dem for any kind condition back for republic. Some other one dem talk say Nigeria no even get enough thing dem for help itself. How manage e go help the population for Southern Cameroon refugee dem for inside Nigeria? Country people as we dey talk, problem e dey. And e get sef another tori wey dey very necessary because small corner tori dem e dey comot say republic governor dey try for talk for Nigerian governor people dem say make dem send back the Ambazonian people dem and they go give them small money wey dem go take am hold am and they go put am for their back pocket. Some other back tori e still comot how they don already force some refugee dem make dem go back for that side for Ambazonia so that they go catch them inside the violence and they go kill am. And this thing dem so, my country people, na sika say republic people, they no want am say make people dem they succeed for any side they dey. This cry wey we dey cry for human right, no be only for palava for human right, we dey cry for UN people dem because say we people never even see chop. Money wey dem dey give them na 2,200 for one full month. Country people, e no better for that side. Hospital sef, e no dey. Red Cross, e don move e hand for wetin dey happen for we refugee dem. Make una hear the tori as e dey enter so. So better say me we people dem go die back for republic. Make we country people continue for support with president how he don already start the palava for the help we refugee dem so that dem too dem go get better life. And when we dey go back for Buya, we go go back all we inside glad. Country people na for hear wey tori e don jam for we for pidgin news, but I go wait and I go give pass for my combi dem Oni and Star make dem can broke am for the grammar kind of way. Una stay fine, I don't go me.
Forgotten voices.
Forgotten voices.
Forgotten voices.
Forgotten voices.
Forgotten voices.
Forgotten voices.
The humanitarian crisis in southern Cameroons.
The Norwegian Refugee Council has identified the ongoing war between the Cameroons as one of the most neglected crises in the world. Today, we examine the heartbreaking story of the humanitarian crisis faced since 2016 by my people, the people of the southern Cameroons, also known as Ambazonia. At the look of things, you can see the fingerprints of France and Britain on the maneuvers.
To understand the root cause of this conflict, the war, we must go back to the failed decolonization by the United Nations, followed by annexation and recolonization by the French Republic of Cameroon, an unfortunate reality in modern day history, or should we say an international conspiracy against the people of Southern Cameroon.
The UN General Assembly Resolution 1608, Article 15, explains the historicity and the legality of our quest in very clear terms. However, the proximate or immediate cause of the conflict began in September and October of 2016. The lawyers and teachers in southern Cameroon protested against the government of Cameroon's decision to use civil law instead of common law in Anglophone territory, and the employment of the French-speaking teachers who can hardly speak English, let alone teach other subjects besides French language in Anglo-Saxon schools.
Amnesty International has urged authorities in Cameroon to investigate the deaths of at least 4 people in clashes between security agencies and protesters in the northwestern town of Bamenda. 2 protesters were killed and 10 others were wounded on Friday in Cameroon's northwest region, in the latest bout of violence in the English-speaking region of the mostly francophone country.
Shooting, flogging, some of them raping others.
Instead of addressing the issues raised by the protests, the government responded with arrest and torture, leading to the widespread resistance.
On October 2007, the people of the South declared the restoration of their independence, marking the beginning of the liberation movement.
Since 2017, the people of Southern Cameroon have endured immense suffering. Over 45,000 lives have been lost, and more than 400 villages have been razed to the ground.
There are among an estimated 40,000 Anglophone refugees registered on Nigerian soil who have walked sometimes for days.
Today, over 1.5 million Southern Cameroonian refugees seek safety and shelter, with the majority finding refuge in neighboring Nigeria. Meanwhile, more than 1 million are internally displaced within their own homeland.
Over 1,500 prisoners of conscience languish in jails without due process, their voices silenced or muted by an oppressive regime.
Take me So it happened now so for petrol stations.
More than 500 cases of rape have been reported, with many going unreported. The scars of this horrifying violence run deep within the community.
Thousands of Southern Cameroonian men, women, and children bear the physical and emotional scars of war, enduring permanent injuries and trauma. Since the onset of the war, thousands of children and youth have been reported missing, further amplifying the anguish faced by families torn apart.
Over 20 massacres have occurred, leaving behind numerous documented and unknown mass graves, casting a dark shadow over the region's future.
The atrocities perpetrated by the Republic of Cameroon in the southern Cameroons must not be forgotten. We must shed light on the untold stories, demanding justice and international recognition.
Thank you for joining us today and listening to the story of a people abandoned by the international community. Our fight for international recognition and self-governance continues. For more information and to support our cause, visit www.amazoniagenocidellibrary.com.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. the colonial La Republique du Cameroon authorities in Amazonia have done everything humanly possible to fight Monday's ghost town in Amazonia, but to no avail. Well, this much energy they have invested in fighting ghost towns is because it is depriving them economically. This La Republique surrogates and BS thugs are losing a lot of money on Mondays. With a complete shutdown of Amazonia, all those extortion points are locked out as well, considering the numerous colonial police extortion points in the entire Amazonia and the different oppression offices not being able to work today is certainly always a big loss for them. Well, this is the justification as to why the Colonial La Republique administrators might never stop fighting Monday ghost outs. But the good thing is, the people of the Federal Republic of Amazonia are more than determined to further frustrate La Republique's surrogates and make Amazonia ungovernable by the Colonial La Republique government. Interestingly, we see something else, something new happening with the SDF. Is this going to favor Amazonians? And what exactly could it be? To know, you have to stay on the full briefings of Undaunted tonight, coming up in only a jiffy, right after the prime headlines.
Here are the prime headlines for tonight. We'll start tonight's report with another ghost town successfully achieved. Tonight on Undaunted, OC voted chairman at a time, the Social Democratic Front Party has been vomited by Amazonians. Tonight, we will revisit the Buya massacre of 30th July 2018 and also the forceful extradition of Southern Cameroonians and on the African scene, Sudan's army and rival paramilitary force in fresh peace talks in Jeddah. And on the foreign scene, Israeli approach to ground war in Gaza aligns with the U.S. advice. Now let's get the news in full detail. The Colonial La Republique de Cameroon authorities in Amazonia have done everything humanly possible to fight Monday's ghost town in Amazonia, but to no avail. This much energy they have invested in fighting ghost town is because it is depriving them economically. These thugs of the BS regime are losing a lot of money on Mondays with the complete shutdown of Amazonia Mondays. All those extortion points are locked. Considering the numerous colonial police extortion points in the entire Amazonia and the different oppression offices not being able to work in a day is a very big loss. This is the justification as to why the Colonial La Republique de Cameroon administrators will never stop fighting Monday's ghost town. The people of the Federal Republic of Amazonia are more than determined to further frustrate La Republique de Cameroon's surrogates and make Amazonia ungovernable by the Colonial La Republique de Cameroon government. It was another effective ghost town in Amazonia today, Monday 30th October, just like the previous ones. Now, tonight, let's begin Undaunted here. We sincerely apologize for coming behind schedule, but we are here with your Undaunted news. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, very well, Onyi. Good evening, Amazonians. Today, Monday, the 30th October 2023, obviously another Monday lockdown of the entire Amazonia as the population observed the usual lockdowns on Monday. The Colonial La Republic run offices are shut down as Ambazonians close their businesses to give today's lockdown the respect that it deserves. From privately owned businesses to markets not leaving out offices are all locked down today. The people of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia have embraced the call for Monday lockdowns wholeheartedly as they see in it another move to oust the Colonial La Republic from Ambazonia. To the people of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Monday lockdowns is a collective sacrifice to give more impetus to the individual contributions to the fight for the restoration of the statehood of the former British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia.
Ambazonians have adopted different activities to keep themselves busy on Mondays, like today. To others, it is a resting day from a busy week. To some, it is reserved for a family get-together and an opportunity to solidify family bonds as everyone is free, while with others, it is a day for keeping fit. Seeing the growing number of persons engaged in sporting activities on Mondays, the Colonial Senior Divisional Officer for Mazam County, Simeon Emil, once issued an order prohibiting mass sporting activities in some areas of Bamenda. Now, Undaunted saw this as a move to fight Monday's lockdown, but just like other failed, or other moves in this regard failed, this particular one also failed.
Oh, well, moving on, we'll take a look at this new development on the Social Democratic Front. The Social Democratic Front, SDF party, met last Saturday, October 28, 2023, for an elective General Assembly. The major outcomes of this will bring together the delegates of these one-time main opposition party to the ruling CPDM Cameroon's People's Democratic Movement Party is the voting of Joshua Osi as the new chairman of the SDF party. Now, before his election, Osi was the acting chairman after the passing to eternity of the pioneer of the party, Nijon Fru. The most animated debate amongst Ambazonians is that before the demise of Nijon Fru, the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF party, was no threat to the La République du Cameroon colonial government nor the ruling CPDM Cameroon's People's Democratic Party. And Joshua Osi was part of the field team as first vice president. The still to be answered question here is, would Osi bring back the fame of the Social Democratic Front Party at its creation in the early 90s, given he was part of the team when the party lost the people's trust?
The Social Democratic Front, the SDF party, now has a new national chairman replacing the pioneer national chairman, Nijon Frundi, who was buried months ago. Joshua Osi Nabangi, the new national chairman of the SDF party, was voted during the elective convention of the party on Saturday, October 28, 2023, in Yaoundé, the colonial capital of neighboring La République du Cameroon. Delegates of the SDF party formed the Electoral College. These delegates, more than 2,000 in number, came from sub-units of the party from all over the Cameroons. 3 candidates were aspiring for the top position of the Social Democratic Front Party, were 3 in number. These 3 were Joshua Osi, Zama Goden, and Shewa Gestel. The financial requirement was for aspirants of the top position of the SDF party to pay a caution of 7 million francs CFA non-refundable. After the votes were cast and counted, Joshua Osi had 985 votes, Chewa Gestil had 363 votes, and Zama Goden 217 votes, making Osi the choice of the majority of the delegates. To Joshua Osi, The Social Democratic Front Party is a serious party that needs serious leadership. In his words, he said, "We need to build this new era. It is a very difficult task because transformation is extremely difficult, and I am aware of it, and we will build it together. Each member of the party will be called to contribute so that we succeed."
Well, the Social Democratic Front Party was launched in 1990 with the late John Frundi as the pioneer national chairman. At creation, the people of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Southern Cameroons, identified themselves with this party. The people saw in the party an opportunity to speed up the liberation process of their motherland from the La République colonial administration. This dream of freedom through the SDF party, as time went on, became very unrealistic as the party's leadership started dining and wining at the same table with Paul Buya. This caused many Amazonians to withdraw their support for this SDF party, and this is how the party started losing representation in the different houses of representatives in the Cameroons, like the Colonial National Assembly, the Senate, and councils.
Before last Saturday's election, bringing in Joshua Osei as national chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party, the people of Ambazonia, Southern Cameroons, no longer identify themselves with the party. It is the reason the elective convention of the party born in Ambazonia, Bamenda, was held in a foreign land and not in Ambazonia. The new chairman of the SDF party, Joshua Osei, has the task of making the party once again the People's Party, a task he is fully aware of. But what are the intricacies to this SDF party? Now, let's join Gab Ellison as he takes us through the untold story of the creation of SDF party, which is also a betrayal of Southern Cameroon's quest for freedom.
The untold story of the creation of SDF Party, a bit Southern Cameroon's quest for freedom. The creation of the SDF Party in Southern Cameroons was supposed to be a beacon of hope for the people in their quest for freedom and autonomy. However, the untold story behind the formation of the party remains a betrayal of their aspirations. In 1982, President Ahidjo resigned, paving the way for his legal successor, Buya, to assume power. This sudden transition raised eyebrows among observers as Ahidjo was only 59 years old and not known to have any significant health issues. Upon closer inspection, it became evident that there was more to Ahidjo's resignation than met the eye. Prior to this event, the people of Southern Cameroons had already felt betrayed by French Cameroon's encroachment on their autonomy. The transformation of the Federal Republic of the Cameroons into Ahidjo's United Republic of Cameroons was a clear indication of their concerns. Sadly, the situation worsened under Buya's leadership as he changed the failed unitary state into a republic by renaming the two states with the names originally given to French Cameroon by France during their occupation. These actions were perceived as politically legitimate by Southern Cameroon elites like Fon Goji Dinga, Chief Ayamba, and others. They saw Buya's moves as a case of recolonization and assimilation of the Southern Cameroons, further fueling their desire for independence. Fon Goji even interpreted Buya's actions as a secession of La République de Cameroon from the failed union. In the midst of this struggle, there were discussions among the Southern Cameroon's elites about forming a political structure or party to help achieve their cause. This led to the conceptualization of the SDF party. However, the emergence of Frundi as the party's chairperson was both surprising and suspicious. Frundi, who had been a candidate of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, RDPC, in a parliamentary election in 1988, seemed an unlikely champion for the autonomy of the Southern Cameroons. Some viewed his involvement in the SDF party as opportunistic and a thirst for power. After Frundi had not shown any inclination or interest in fighting for the autonomy of his people during his time in the RDPC. Furthermore, in 1985, the UNC party was renamed the CPDM under Buya's leadership. This was the same period when Frundi, the supposed leader of the SDF party in 1990, was still aligned with the ruling party. Southern Cameroon saw Frundi as an apologist, someone who had not stood up for their rights when he had the chance. The untold story of the creation of the SDF party reveals the betrayal of the Southern Cameroon's quest for freedom, while there were genuine concerns and efforts by Southern Cameroonian elites to address the recolonization and assimilation they faced. Frundi's involvement raises questions about the true intentions and objectives of the party. The Southern Cameroons deserved a leader who was dedicated to their cause and not someone who appeared to be swayed by political affiliations and personal ambitions. In conclusion, the formation of the SDF party was supposed to be a significant step towards the autonomy and freedom of the Southern Cameroons. However, the involvement of Frundi and his perceived betrayal of the people's aspirations raises doubts about the party's true mission. The untold story behind the SDF party's creation reflects a deep sense of disappointment and betrayal for the Southern Cameroon's quest for freedom. Gab Ellison reporting from Undaunted, ABC Amber News.
All right, thank you so much, Gab Ellison. Now, let us revisit the Buya massacre of 30th July 2018. Becquerel Town, Sandpit area in Buya on Monday, the 30th of July 2018, experienced one of their greatest horrors in memory. Now, what happened? This happened when masked elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion Bs moved into the locality and massacred youth. Some were taken away and executed in neighboring Buya town, leaving the entire community wailing and mourning their children and friends. While the casualties here, or the casualties were pale comparable to other massacres in the ongoing genocide on the minority English-speaking of the British Southern Cameroons, the uniqueness of these Buya massacre was that amongst the two, Esambo Roland Ndono and Monomo Emmanuel Evakes, who were later executed at Buya town, one was a French-speaking Cameroonian. What happened then? Let's find out.
Well, when he identified himself as having originated from French Cameroon, his brothers from the French Cameroon military gave him taxi fare and executed the two British Southern Cameroonians. Good thing he relayed the whereabouts of the two innocent British Southern Cameroonians whose corpses were retrieved for burial, else that would have gone as another unspoken and unseen case. Well, this massacre continued in Dunga Matung and Babesi, Wum, Ndian, Nkwem, and so many other local government areas in Ambazonia. Special thanks to the ARFs of the interim government led by President Sako, who, through drafts, are able to protect and secure the Amazonian population now. Oh, well, moving on, Amazonian refugees from Nigeria is against international law to abduct citizens. Well, newspaper reports are awash with this, and right groups have expressed concerns against the deportation of Southern Cameroonians, saying it is against international law. Amazonian refugees from Nigeria against their will. This is a serious issue that has raised concerns about the safety and human rights of the refugees. Some have expressed concerns that the deportations violate international law and the principle of non-refoulement, which prohibits states from returning refugees to a country where they are faced with persecution or danger. I, for one, can deportation be possible when the war is still raging and when no ceasefire has been declared is a question that we're asking. How can this deportation be possible with this war still ravaging the Cameroons?
This senseless war declared by Pierre's regime of neighboring La Republic de Cameroon on Ambazonians has been and remains a devastating one. Over 50,000 deaths, over 1,000 homes and villages burnt, thousands missing, thousands in jails, over 1 million. Of course, the issue of refugee deportation has sparked debate about the rights of refugees and the responsibilities of host countries to protect them. Some argue that Nigeria has a duty to protect the refugees and provide them with safe and humane conditions. Others argue that Nigeria is not equipped to deal with the large number of refugees and should be able to deport them if necessary. There has been allegations that the corrupt French Cameroonian government is pressuring the Nigerian government to deport refugees in order to suppress dissent and opposition. It also has been alleged that some of the refugees has been forcibly returned to war-torn Amazonia, where they face persecution, violence, and reprisals. The allegations are true because La Republic de Cameroon wants to continually sit on Amazonians whom they consider as their slaves.
Oh, well, it's true that the situation in the Cameroons is complex and there are many different perspectives to it. Some have argued that the colonial La Republic government is treating the southern Cameroons minority as second-class citizens and denying them basic rights, which is part of the truth. Others have argued that the Amazonians minority is tired of being forced to live together with the Francophones and is fighting to restore their independent state, which is the complete part of the whole truth, which the occupier and annexationist La Republic sees detrimental to the country since the southern Cameroons is basically their live wire, their milking cows. Under the 1951 Refugee Convention, refugees cannot be returned to a country where they face a well-founded fear of persecution and danger. This includes situations where there is no ceasefire in place and the refugees may be at risk of violence and harm. The right to asylum is a fundamental human right and should be protected. The international community needs to do more to protect the refugees and hold the genocidal annexationist La Republic's government accountable.
The Southern Cameroon's conflicts being the most neglected in recent history, many have called for more international pressure on the Yaoundé government to protect the rights of refugees and end the ongoing conflict. Some have called for sanctions or other measures to be taken against the genocidal La Republic de Cameroon government. Others have called for a greater role for the United Nations and other international bodies in mediating the conflict and promoting a peaceful resolutions. And these measures would be effective if the UN took the bull by the horns since escalation of this war 7 years today.
Oh, well, the United Nations has been involved in some capacity, but needs to play a more active role. The challenge is that any intervention by the United Nations or other international bodies must be done in a way that respects the sovereignty of the oppressor La Republique and the oppressed, the southern Cameroons, that may not cause further instability. The African Union in this situation has proven to be more or less a toothless bulldog, just like the United Nations. The interim government, through its spokesperson, Dr. Martin Mungwe, has also reacted to these as regards to the Tsang's family as well and has vehemently condemned these actions. Well, we've gotten the thoughts of these particular concern.
All right, and coming up next, we have this important message from General Hardock concerning some lockdown, and let's take that first.
We've been in the drafting season for quite a while now, but
what's been said is sufficient for anyone with sense. Spokesperson, Ambazona National Self-Defense Council, spokesperson for the ARF for the 13 counties that make up the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We will prevail. Victory is sure. Fellow citizens of Ambazonia, today is Monday, October 30th, 2023, Anno Domini. Another Mamu Water goes down day throughout the territory of Ambazonia. And as usual, there shall be no movement of vehicles, cars, lorries, taxis, motorcycles, bicycles, tricycles, and horses in our towns, cities, and streets, save for genuine ambulances in cases of medical emergency. No inter-urban and interstate transportation. All markets, bars, shops, off-licenses, houses, boo houses, garages, and business premises are totally shut down. The Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council enjoins the ARF nationwide to ensure that in our towns, cities, streets, and major roads, there is nothing but ghosts, and only ghosts. All football matches, handball matches, sporting activities, socio-political and cultural gatherings, and activities organized by the French Cameroon colonial power are totally banned throughout the territory of Ambazonia. Any person taking part in such unlawful anti-tidal activities will be considered an enabler, a traitor, a blackleg, and an accomplice of the genocidal killers of the Ambazonian people and treated as such. We shall make no distinction between the La République of Cameroon, Modros, P, gendarmes, Modros soldiers, Modros police, SDOs, government, and those who foster their blood-stained agenda in our territory. All operators are trotting down the path to perdition and peril. Dictum sapientis at est, what has been said is sufficient for anyone with sense. Spokesman, Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council, spokesperson for the ARF for the 13 counties that make up the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We will prevail. Victory is sure.
All right, before we get to the African news, we also have another report by General Hardock, where he's talking about some tax imposed by the ADF. Now, let's take a listen.
Fellow citizens, today is Monday, October 30th, 2023, and you are in the company of the spokesperson for the Ambazonian Restitution Forces for the 13 counties and the ANSC. The subject of our message this morning is the so-called liberation tax. With regards to this controversial subject, liberation tax, which has been a source of stress and a nightmare to Ambazonians on the home front and in the diaspora, the ARF nationwide and the ANSC submitted to the Ambazonian People's Interim Government under the stewardship of His Excellency President Samuel Sako Ikomi, do hereby unequivocally state their position. We have neither asked our citizens to pay any tax or taxes, nor authorize any person or persons to collect any taxes for whatever motive. We understand that our Ambazonians in the home front, both civilians and ARF, are being indiscriminately targeted and killed by La République of Cameroon forces of terror and mass murder, and are already overwhelmed by the stakes of the ongoing genocide. Many of them are IDPs, that's internally displaced persons. Some have had their homes and dwellings mercilessly burnt down by dictator Paul Biya's forces. Their loved ones have been brutally murdered by the vassal regime of Yaoundé, and our approach towards their plight is only characterized by compassion, pity, love, sympathy, and consolation, and the desire and determination to defend and protect them from further tribulations and stress. We could not and cannot therefore impose any tax on them for whatever reason. We therefore call on whomsoever is imposing such a tax on our already suffering population to discontinue the unwarranted and unjustifiable and criminal enterprise with immediate effect and without any preconditions. We have always seen what draft as the only workable formula for our liberation and exhorted all Ambazonians conscious of the irreplaceable value of freedom to draft to that effect. In this vein, we always encourage Ambazonians and even non-Ambazonians who love our freedom to support our ARF in view of realizing our common common dream, unfettered freedom, and total and unconditional independence for Ambazonia and the Amazonian people. This support is voluntary and no one is under compulsion to offer it. And finally, we call on all citizens of Ambazonia throughout the Federal Republic to identify any person or persons linked to the said exploitative, extortionist, and anti-revolutionary scheme called repression tax and reports to the nearest ARF barracks for justice to pursue them. Spokesperson, Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council, spokesperson for the Ambazonia Restitution Forces throughout the 13 counties that make up the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
All right, now we'll be heading on to the African scene, news across Africa. In North Africa, the Sudanese army and its rival paramilitary force resumed peace talks last week in a new push to end the nearly 7-month conflict between Sudan's warring factions. The revived talks between representatives from the Sudanese army led by Abdel Fattah Burhan and the Rapid Support Force paramilitary commanded by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo are underway in the Saudi coastal city of Jeddah. The kingdom's foreign ministry said in a statement on Thursday, October 26. The talks are being brokered by both Riyadh and Washington, the statement said. Now, the RSF and the army both confirmed on Wednesday that they would participate in the talks. The previous peace talks were held in Jeddah earlier this year but broke down in late June. Washington and Riyadh accused both sides of failing to abide by ceasefire deals they had agreed to since April. There have been at least 9 temporary ceasefire deals and all have foundered. Let's hope this one makes a difference.
Meanwhile, DRC ceasefire breaches raise tension as AU rethinks peace intervention. The African Union is rethinking future intervention missions in conflict zones as ceasefire breaches in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who are forcing the East African Community Regional Force into combat. The African Union first launched its disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration program in 2011, targeting conflicts like the one in the DRC.
Now, this week, the Continental Bloc said its 4th phase of disarmament programs in conflict zones will largely rely on local peace solutions backed by data. The UN Department of Peace Operations and the World Bank are supporting the program. Only strategic and in-demand interventions in conflict will be prioritized, with regional economic blocs and national governments allowed the lead role. This will ensure that the results in the conflict prevention and response are fit for purpose and impactful, read a dispatch from the AU on the AU-DDR capacity program.
Well, from West Africa, trade tops their agenda as Germany's Scholz meets Nigerian leaders on West Africa trip. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz met with Nigerian President Bola Tinubu on Sunday to discuss trade and investment opportunities during a West African tour, as the European country looks to diversify its trade partners and expand economic partnerships in the energy-rich region. In his 3rd trip to Africa since he took office in 2021 and his 2nd this year, Scholz pushed for further development of Nigeria's capacity to meet local needs, even as Germany seeks improved trade relations with its 2nd largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. Germany-Nigeria trade volume is estimated to be about 3 billion euros annually.
All major aspects of the two countries' cooperations, including working with Nigeria to help tackle regional and global issues such as migration, security, and rampant coups in West and Central Africa, Scholz told Tinubu during their meeting in the capital of Abuja. Meanwhile, many in Niger are still suffering under coup-related sanctions. Junta backers call it a worthy sacrifice as families in Niger struggle after economic sanctions imposed in response to the military coup.
Right, news across the globe. Top Democrats plead with party to stop looking for a Biden alternative. President Joe Biden is just as low in the White House internal polls as in any of the public ones. Whenever aides stress over the numbers in their weekly political meetings, Mike Donilon, for decades, Biden's top political advisor, is consistent voice of President's inner circle. According to people who have heard him, he says Biden's numbers are pretty much where they were this far from the 2022 midterms, and all the doubt sounded the same. But the president's team pursued its own careful approach to the campaigns and then saw Democrats exceed expectations. But while Biden advisors of Rep. Dean Phillips' primary challenge launched this week, they are also annoyed about it. And that annoyance betrays the fact that some of them share the same uneasiness many Democrats feel about a president whose age is twice his approval rating.
Now, the Israeli approach to ground war in Gaza aligns with U.S. advice. Israel's apparent decision to hold off on a full-scale invasion of the Gaza Strip and instead conduct more limited ground incursions, at least initially, aligns with suggestions that the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III made to his Israeli counterparts in recent days, American officials said on Saturday. Biden administration officials warned that it was hard to tell what Israel would eventually do since increased airstrikes and expanded ground incursions in the past 3 days indicated a more aggressive posture. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel said on Saturday evening that Israeli forces had entered the Gaza Strip on Friday to begin the second stage of the war, though he did not describe the move as an invasion.
Still on this, UN wants civil order declining in Gaza as thousands take basics from warehouses. The United Nations warned on Sunday that there are signs of civil disorder starting to break down in Gaza, reporting that thousands of desperate Palestinians are taking basic items like flour and hygiene supplies from a warehouse as Israel stepped up its operation in the territory. At a news conference, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the situation in Gaza was growing more desperate by the hours. Already their condition in Gaza created after telecommunications lines went down on Friday evening, deepening challenges for medical services and leaving aid agencies out of touch with their staff on the ground in the densely populated territory that homes more than 2 million people. The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, also acknowledged that some of its aid supplies were taken, which he says is a warning of growing hunger.
Now, the Pakistan set to deport over 1.4 million undocumented Afghan nationals. Pakistan's government plans to deport these 1.4 million Afghan nationals after November. The United Nations is calling for the country to hold off to avoid human rights violation. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, the OHCHR, said in a press release that it is extremely alarmed by Pakistan's deportation announcement, as there are currently over 2 million undocumented Afghans living in the country. Of the 2 million, more than 600,000 are immigrants who left Afghanistan after the Taliban reclaimed power in August 2021.
Well, still on Israel, Russian aerospace forces bomb underground bunkers to eliminate terrorists. The Russian aerospace forces have bombed the underground shelters and control centers of militants involved in the shelling of Syrian government forces in the provinces of Latakia and Idlib. This was stated by the deputy head of the Russian Center for Reconciliation of Warring Parties, Rear Admiral Vadim Kulit. The Russian aerospace forces carried out airstrikes on targets of militants involved in shelling the position of Syrian government troops, underground shelters, and control points of illegal armed group in the area of the settlement of Kabna in the province of Latakia, Barisha, and area in the province were hit. Israel is also formulating plans to eradicate the underground shelters of Hamas from where they are believed to be operating and attacking the Jewish nation from.
Now, Pope's major Vatican summit ends without actions on women deacons, mention of the LGBTQ Catholics. Pope Francis' high-stake summit on the future of the Catholic Church concluded on October 28 by postponing action on the possibility of ordaining women as deacons and failing to acknowledge deep tensions that surfaced in a month of debate over how the global institution should care for its LGBTQ members. A 41-page report approved and published that evening called for the results of earlier papal and theological commissions on women deacons to be presented for further considerations at the next assembly of the Synod of Bishops to be held in October 2024. The report, titled A Synodal Church in Mission, follows an intense month of debate at the Vatican among some 450 participants over a range of big issues, including the role of women in church, clergy, sexual abuse, and better vision of the LGBTQ Catholics.
Right, for sports tonight, Gab Ellison is already waiting in the sports studio.
Latest world sports. Football. Fabio Grosso, Lyon manager, seriously injured as team boss attacked in Marseille. Lyon has an even more tragedy could occur if action is not taken after manager Fabio Grosso was seriously injured in an attack on the team boss in Marseille. The League One match was postponed after the Lyon boss was hit by rocks on its way to Stade Velodrome on Sunday. Lyon said Grosso and assistant Rafael Longo were struck by projectiles and sustained facial injuries. Marcel said it deplores the unacceptable incidents. French Sports Minister Amélie Oudéa-Castéra said 7 arrests have been made after 6 coaches with Lyon fans were also targeted before the game between 10th place Marseille and bottom of the table Lyon, which was due to kick off at 19:05 GMT. In a statement, Lyon said it regrets that this type of situation occurs every year in Marseille, adding that the club invites the authorities to take stock of the seriousness and repetition of this type of incident before an even more serious tragedy occurs. Lyon said several people violently attacked the boss and windows were smashed by projectiles. Images on social media showed a bloodied Grosso lying on a stretcher. Lyon said he and Longo were directly hit and seriously injured in the face during the attack. Lyon initially wanted to play the match, but opinions changed following news of the injuries to Grosso and Longo, while the player's mental state was also taken into account. He, Grosso, can't hold a conversation. He had shards of glass in his face. Lyon president John Textor told Prime Video, "I'm very angry. Our players, our coach, prepared for tonight, and the fans wanted to see the game played. Once the window was broken, other projectiles hit him just above the eye. There were beer bottles which hit him on the forehead." American football, NFL Week 8 review and results. Chiefs beating in Denver and 49ers lose third in a row. Defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs suffered a shock 24-9 defeat at the Denver Broncos on another intriguing NFL Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles owned the league's best record after grinding out a 7th win, but the San Francisco 49ers lost their 3rd game in a row. The Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys enjoyed blowout wins, while the Carolina Panthers finally got their first victory of the season. A win at the Pittsburgh Steelers means the Jacksonville Jaguars are the form team in the league. Rookie quarterback Will Levis made a spectacular NFL debut for the Tennessee Titans, and veteran Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins may have had his season ended by injury. Denver had lost 16 games in a row against the Chiefs, but broke the streak in style, becoming the first team to score more than 21 points against the impressive Kansas City defense this season. Patrick Mahomes failed to throw a touchdown pass for the first time in 30 games in a bad day all round for the Chiefs. With their star quarterback suffering from illness in frigid conditions at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos forced 5 turnovers as they secured their first win over Mahomes in 13 attempts, and first win over their divisional rivals for 2,965 days. And they could not resist sending Travis Kelce and his team off the field to the sound of Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. Defeat leaves the Chiefs on 6-2 and tied at the top of the AFC. Jaguars, who started their run with 2 victories in London. The Ravens that won 24 success in Arizona was their 3rd in succession, thanks to a strong defensive display and 3 rushing touchdowns for Gus Edwards, with Lamar Jackson not at his best. Hockey. Outstanding American ice hockey player Adam Johnson dies in freak accident. American ice hockey player Adam Johnson has died following a freak accident on the ice as he played for English side Nottingham Panthers. The team said in a statement, in the second period of the team's Challenge Cup match against the Sheffield Steelers on Saturday, Johnson appeared to suffer a serious neck injury after colliding with a Sheffield player. Nottingham Panthers described the 29-year-old as an outstanding ice hockey player and said everyone at the club was heartbroken. The Nottingham Panthers are truly devastated to announce that Adam Johnson has tragically passed away following a freak accident at a game in Sheffield last night, the team said on Sunday. The Panthers would like to thank everyone who rushed to support Adam last night in the most testing of circumstances. Fans had been asked to leave the arena in Sheffield due to a major medical emergency. Panthers had posted on social media on Saturday. BBC Sport reported that 8,000 spectators were in attendance. The Panthers play in England's top league, the Elite Ice Hockey League, which announced that all games scheduled to take place on Sunday had been postponed. Many of us would have found Saturday's events very distressing, the league said in a statement. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Born in Hibbing, Minnesota, forward Johnson started his professional career in the American Hockey League before progressing to the NHL, where he played for the Pittsburgh Penguins, featuring in 13 matches over 2 years and scoring 4 points. In October 2019, Johnson scored a goal against the Minnesota Wild in the Penguins' 7-4 victory. The National Hockey League family mourns the passing of former Pittsburgh Penguin Adam Johnson. Our prayers and deepest condolences go to his family, friends, and teammates, the NHL said in a statement. Johnson also played in Sweden and Germany before joining the Panthers for the 2023-2024 season. Gab Ellison reporting from Undaunted, ABC Amber News.
All right, thank you so much, Gab Ellison, for that sports report. And with that sports report, we've come to the end of Undaunted here. But before we go, let's take a look at our majors.
Well, Undaunted tonight we brought to you another Monday goes down today, 30th October 2023. We also brought to you the new trend of the SDF as OC voted as chairman at a time the Social Democratic Front Party has been thrown up by the Amazonians. We revisited the Buya massacre of 30th July 2018.
Tonight, we looked at the forceful extradition of Southern Cameroonians, South Sudan's army and rival paramilitary force in fresh peace talks in Jeddah was for African news, and foreign news. Israeli approach to ground war in Gaza aligns with U.S. advice. And that was it for tonight on Undaunted, bringing into the news Untold Stories. On behalf of my co-anchor Smart and the entire Undaunted crew, we say thank you for tuning in.
We will leave you with ABC Amber TV images. Good night and God bless you.